Welcome to the Dance Studio Empire podcast, a mix of business strategies, simple tips for studio growth and success, with a touch of inspiration, motivation, plus raw and honest conversations to ensure you are building your studio empire. I'm your host, Jen Dalton, studio owner for 30 years, dance business coach, and author of the book Teaching Dance Beyond the Steps. My business philosophy is creativity is our superpower, and I believe we all have the means and ability to infiltrate this into our studio. Just sometimes we can get too busy, distracted, or overwhelmed to see that. And so this is exactly what I am here to help you do. Okay then, let's do this. Hit that subscribe button, sit back and relax. Now let's get ready to build your dance studio empire. Well, hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of Dance Studio Empire, which is 14 ways to reclaim your sanity after your concert. Now, my intention with this episode is, as usual, to provide you with valuable tips and powerful information that essentially is going to change your life. However, I also hope this one makes you smile, even if it is just a little bit. Now, a disclaimer with this one. Now, we all call our performances something different. So it could be a show or a concert or a recital or a showcase. The list goes on. But for the purpose of this episode, I'm going to refer to it as performance. And I probably will slip in concert somewhere because that's what we call ours. However, just know that I am including you and whatever you call yours. All right, so you've probably seen all over social media at the moment, many of our Northern Hemisphere friends are about to finish or have just finished their annual performances. And possibly some of our Southern Hemisphere friends are in the midst of running a mid-year performance. And if you missed it or you don't know what a mid-year concert or performance is, just check out episode 4 because I did a whole episode and explained the benefits of running one in your studio. Anyway, you can go back there. But first of all, I just need to start by saying a huge congratulations to everyone who has got there. Seriously, no one can truly appreciate what goes into running, putting together, the organizing, pulling off an event such as this unless they've actually done it. You know, organizing a wedding is nothing on organizing a performance. So congratulations. But that also led to me putting together this little rather cheeky checklist because I think it's really important that we, although it's in jest, but we really do need to take some time to rest and recover. So as I work through these next 14 ways that you can reclaim your sanity, I hope it just brings a little smile to you and, you do get through it because we end up doing it again. All right, let's go. Now, the first one is it's a semi-serious point. First thing is just tie up any of the loose ends because these are going to play on your mind over the break. Now, this could be finalizing any bills or invoices that you have, returning props or costumes. Maybe it's even rebooking the venue for the following year. Whatever it is, just if you get those things, I know you won't want to do them. They'll be the last thing that you want to do, but just get it done so it's off your head. Which then brings me to point 2, which is to unpack. Because unpacking your car, your bags, your costumes, the makeup, your hair accessories, not hopefully, but you probably got gifts of, soaps, chocolates, flowers, maybe wine if you're really lucky, and those precious handwritten cards. You need to unpack those just to clear your mind so you can really enjoy a bit of a break. The most important thing I want you to unpack is that built-up frustration from the lead up to the big day, because it's okay, you're through it now. All right, once you've done that, number 3, if you must, read and listen to all the praise and the accolades that you are getting. That's the nice stuff. But I want you to keep those 1,000 positive messages in the forefront of your mind for when that one negative message comes in, which you are sure to receive, I don't want you focusing on that. You need to focus on the positives. People just don't understand how emotionally committed you are to your performance day. I can remember several years ago, and I had a mum come in. We had our concert on the weekend, and we ran, I think there were five concerts over that weekend, and her daughter was in our preschoolers concert, which is the first one we run on a Saturday. But I can tell you it is the hardest and most stressful of all the concerts. Now we had, I think, over 200 preschoolers. And the hardest part about that concert is for us in the venue we're in, is at the end of the concert, getting our preschoolers back to their parents. They've got to navigate stairs. We've got to get them, safely back to a parent to make sure that the right parent's collecting them. So it's a big ordeal. And they're so little, these little tiny humans. So, and I come out at the end and I say, okay, we're going to close the curtains, and I will call each day of the week to come to collect their little ones. It's just a slow process. I mean, and that's what I choose to do because the safety and well-being of my dancers is number one priority. So that's just how it is. Anyway, long story short, on the Monday after that, she came back. She was in the studio. I was exhausted, as you know, that feeling after your concert is like you've been hit by a truck almost. So back at the studio, I was behind the desk, and she came over and she said, "Oh, Jen, the concert was beautiful. I loved seeing her on the stage. She had such a great time. But is there any way that you could make the process faster to get the kids back to us?" And I don't even know. I just looked at her like my body language. I didn't even need to say words. My body language just explained, "Are you kidding me?" And her intentions were fine and were good, but right then and there, I just could not take that feedback right then and there because she didn't understand what went into it, and the emotional stress that we put into for our kids and making them safe. So the timing was just wrong. And so that's why, and that leads me into the next point 4, which is just at this time, ignore those pieces of advice of, "Oh, I just had a thought about how you could run your performance better next time." Now, unless that comes from a mentor or a guru or even maybe a dance teacher, the chances are you don't need to hear that feedback at that time. And it could be stuff that you could use later down the track, but you just need to park that at that point. Don't let that eat you up. Don't let that upset you and take away from the amazing event that you've just put on. And I know that is so much easier said than done. And still, this many years down the track, I still have those issues myself. But, I'm just saying it for you. Keep it in the back of your mind. Okay, so number 5 is to be really proud of your achievements. Understand not everyone can do what you've done. It takes a certain type of person to be able to pull off such an enormous event, and it really is a credit to you and your hard work, your commitment, and that dedication to the art and your students. So take the time to be proud of what you've done. Number 6 is I want you to just find one thing that you love and dedicate a whole day or 2 if you can to it. Now, this is going to be different for us all, of course. Could be reading a book or a magazine, getting a massage or a facial, going for a swim, walk on the beach, whatever it is for you. For me, it is just simply that I don't have to talk to another human for a day or 2. That for me is just enough to relax and recuperate without having to communicate with others. Okay, number 7, getting your diet back on track. So there's no more fueling with caffeine, there's no more chocolate, there's no more energy drinks or chips, whatever it is that you're having for dinner. Every year I say to myself, okay, not this year. I'm going to be pre-cooking meals. I've got healthy snacks in the cupboard. They're on hand. I'm going to keep them with me. Do not drink the Red Bull. Well, what can I say? I do my best, but it doesn't always follow through. Number 8 is to fill your pantry with real food again. Now, you're going to have to go back through your fridge and you're going to have to go through. There's probably some spoilt food in there. It's gone rotten over the time, but that's okay because I don't want you to feel guilty about that. You really are doing your best. But go through, clear it all out, get rid of that clutter so you can just refill with fresh fruit and veggies again. Number 9 is to wash and fold those clothes that have been lying around for probably the past couple of months. And this is the time when you can be really thankful that you have a wardrobe full of lycra tops, crops and tights, and thankfully and hopefully you're never going to run out, because if you're like me, you've got drawers full of them. But my little tip is just stay on top of those undies, because it's a really bad day when you run out of a clean underwear. But for everything else, now's the time just to get back on top of that. Okay, number 10 is reconnect and remind those close to you who you are and that you're really grateful that they've waited for you to resurface from the performance abyss. I'm really hopeful that you do have a supportive unit around you and they understand just how immersing and stressful this time can be. For some of us, I know I am very lucky that I have my closest network of family and friends are actually involved in it. So I don't feel alone. But I know for some people you can feel alone at this time. So, my hope for you is that you can just now take this time to spend with those friends and families just to reconnect back into the real world again. Number 11 is just to engage in as many mindless activities for as long as possible. Because I know there's going to be a sudden urge to start choreographing again. But, do your best to just shut down, even if it is just for a few days. That way you'll come back a lot more creative, a lot fresher, and there'll be less stress involved in the return to it. Which then moves me to point 12, which is don't listen to any music or watch any videos that are related to dance or any TikToks or social media, because you will start choreographing and planning way too soon. So I'm talking for me, I don't even listen to the radio in the car when I'm driving at these points. Walking through the shops, stick your fingers in your ears if you have to. It is it's just like a drug to us, like hearing that music, and all of a sudden the creative juices will start. Oh, that could be good. I could implement that into a theme, or that, I know what you're like. You need to have a break. So just remove all sources of music and inspiration just for a little bit. All right, moving on to now point 13. Now, this is a little bit serious again. I want you just to forget the negative stuff. Those parents that possibly were causing you frustration, the kids that didn't come to rehearsals enough. I want you to forget all that and just remember why it is that you teach, the feeling it gives you, and that gift that you give to your students. Never forget you are amazing and you change lives. And this is a really good time to remember that as well. And finally, you get to prep and do it all again because you just can't help yourself. All right, like I said, it can be like a drug to us. Now, you just have to stay in control of your mental health, that exhaustion, that burnout. You don't want it. It's really important that you protect your energy. You are so important, and it's really, you need to take responsibility for being the best version that you can be, not only for yourself, for your family and friends, but for your students as well. Okay, well, look, that brings us to the end of the 14 points. I hope you can tick off the whole list and that you really do enjoy a break when it is your turn. I want you to know this is spoken with love, and it comes it comes with a complete understanding of exactly how you feel right now, because I've been there. In fact, coming up this weekend, we have our mid-year showcase. So I know exactly how you're feeling right now. All right. So I'm going to leave that leave the podcast here for this week. If you've enjoyed it, I'd like to invite you to sign up to receive a short daily boost of inspiration and motivation from me. Now, this is just sent by email, and they're little notes that will get you thinking and get you inspired to continue to grow your dance studio empire. I will leave the link in the show notes, and I will be back next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dance Studio Empire. If you enjoyed it, please share it on your stories on Instagram and be sure to tag me at Dance Teacher Central so I can say thank you. And if you really want to support me and the show, I'd absolutely love for you to leave a rating or review. For all the latest from me, you can follow me at Dance Teacher Central on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to tune in next week for more strategies and tips to ensure you are building your dance studio empire.